Welcome to these Sci-Fi guys. I am your host Dave, and with me is John and Chad. As always, we pick a movie out, we watch it, and then we get to talk about it or talk about life or things that are meaning close to the movie or whatever. But anyway, this week we are doing Galaxy Quest. One of the biggest spoofs out there, but it's not really a spoof, but it is. So, yeah. It was originally designed to be a spoof,
Mm-hmm.
and it's funny that I did do some reading. Several of the Star Trek cast absolutely loved it. George Takagi, um, uh, Jonathan Frakes, Patrick Stewart, Will Wheaton,
Yeah.
all of them, they loved it. William Shatner, not so much.
No.
But I think it was kind of the way he portrayed it. I think it was supposed to be humorous. The way he was like, I don't understand who he's trying to act like. I've never seen another actor act like that before. I think he was just kind of playing along with it, but it was pretty funny. It was funny. Before we get started, back in 2013, they had a Die Hard Trekkers convention, and they voted Galaxy Quest as the 7th best Star Trek movie. So,
It's going to be a Star Trek. It's somewhere in there.
That's ahead of Generations. It's ahead of the motion picture, obviously.
Yeah.
It was ahead of the J.J. Abrams 2009 reboot.
Yeah. Anything will be ahead of that one.
And of course, it was obviously better than we already said the motion picture, but then it seemed like the odd number ones were not very good. So 3 wasn't great, and neither was 5. One thing before we start, marketing for this movie was really, this came out. When did this come out? 99.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was.
I think so.
Yeah, marketing for this movie was really something else. They actually had, this is when they first were starting out with websites, and they had a website, and they had filmed extra scenes that they never put in the movie that were strictly on the website. Just like little behind the scenes of, getting to know you about the actors and what have you. And it was quite, I mean, it's gone now, obviously. Because it's been years, but it had fan interactions and stuff, and
you're very sure it's gone, because once it's out there, it's out there.
According to what I looked at, it said it was gone. I never actually tried to go to the website itself, so sorry guys. I didn't want to go too far in depth into this. I've had a really busy week this week, so. Let me. I'm trying to get my thing up here to do what we're supposed to do next. Oh yeah, what we're supposed to do next. There it is. Questions, and I'm supposed to ask them because I'm the one that picked the movie. Okay. All right. Well, I'm just gonna jump right in here. Okay, this is the second movie that we've spoofed. We've seen a spoof type movie. First one was Spaceballs, and then this one. That they spoofed popular franchises, obviously Trek and Star Wars. So, can you think of another franchise you would like to see spoofed? And explain why.
I mean, honestly, it's kind of a cop-out answer almost, but and they're, again, sci-fi adjacent almost.
It could be fantasy. It could be fantasy.
Any of the Marvel movies, I would love to see spoofed extremely well. You know what I mean? I think it would almost have to be one of the Avengers films, or maybe the whole 4-movie saga spoofed into one.
Well, it was spoofed.
I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I thought it was
a little bit, but not in a good way.
We didn't say good way here.
Okay.
It was not an question.
I'm kidding.
I
Not
need
all
I
DC
mean
movies
I need a quality spoof like this film.
Okay, that's not where I thought you were going to go. I really thought you were going to go and have a spoof Harry Potter.
Yeah, me too.
Because I know you.
No. I mean, I'm fine with a spoof Harry Potter, but if we're going sci-fi, I got to go the
Well,
Marvel
it's
route.
sci-fi
Have
fantasy.
to.
Yeah.
Okay, Chad, how about you?
Yeah.
You do fantasy. I would like to see more of a spoof of Lord of the Rings. Token.
Mm, I bet you Saturday Night Live did a skit on it at some point.
At some point, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, but you got to think about it. It's a well-known verse of you have humans, elves, dwarves, goblins. You have so many characters that switch around and mess up and make it even funny. I mean, you don't have to be a quality spoof like John Rawls. You can be a mediocre Mel Gibson spoof. Me- Mel Brooks.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I can see that to a point. I mean, it's funny. Some of my favorite shows was growing up. They've already spoofed. Most of them are not science
It's true.
fiction, but I mean, I love MacGyver, and then they spoofed it with MacGruber, or I think that's what it was on Saturday Night Live, and then they actually made a movie out of it. And then they take all the good shows, and then they make them dumb.
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
took the Dukes of Hazzard was a good show when I was growing up,
Unintentional spoofs.
and then they made it into a dumb movie. They took the A-Team. The A-Team wasn't as bad, but it still wasn't the same as
It wasn't the same.
the shows as we grew up with.
Master,
Honestly, I
Master
would like to
Universe.
see them to do the Terminator. I would love to see them spoof
Yeah.
the Terminator as a series,
series.
and just have fun with it.
Or
But
Master
Ultimately,
Universe.
speaking of,
yeah,
I would take a time machine overall film, but like where it spoofs all of sci-fi's biggest ones. Like you just kind of travel through time and you hit different eras or different sci-fi movies as you go. I think that could be an interesting concept. I'd take that all day. And
Now,
I'm
would
sure
you do
something like it's probably out there. But
Now, would you do the actual time machine, or would you do the DeLorean?
you could do the DeLorean. I mean, it's still time travel at that
DeLorean.
point.
The DeLorean,
rolling.
yeah. But
instead of a DeLorean,
DeLorean,
it's got to be a
it's
VW
Civic.
Beetle or something.
No, you gotta do the Cybertruck now.
Oh yeah, okay, there you go. See, we're okay. Hey, here we go. Someone writing this stuff down.
All right, we got to trademark it and make money off of it. That's the key.
Oh yeah. You're right. That would be fun. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I was getting a phone call right in the middle of this. So, okay, let's get into the movie. All right. So we had Gwen. What was Gwen's job?
Talk to the computer and relay what the computer says.
Exactly.
The middleman. Just a middle person. You can
That's all she did. She was just a middle person. And what she didn't. I know that the movie spoofed and said that was her job, but what was her job really supposed to be? I mean, was she the first officer? Was she communications? I mean, what was she supposed to kind of?
I would think it would be more of a lieutenant or her, like the communications, like something like that. I mean, if you want to
I
spoof
mean, I would
Star
almost
Trek,
think, that's fair. I was gonna say, I think almost like an engineer who can read the technical specs and data coming from the computer and then would spout those out loud. I mean, instead of literally the computer saying it and then her saying it, it seems like, oh, you can actually read the data from the computer. You need to be the person to tell us. Otherwise, nobody can understand. I mean, so that seems almost engineering-esque. I don't know how that translates exactly.
But then
in the
you
Star
would then
Trek
what,
world,
what
but-
job would
Well,
Fred have?
yeah, Monk.
You know?
What would Monk have?
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
sorry,
know.
he's gonna be Monk.
he's Monk. Yeah, he really is Monk. I mean, especially this role, he really played like a Monk type.
Yeah.
They did say that they had to reshoot his stuff multiple times because they just couldn't get it right. They didn't want him to be dry, but they didn't want him to be
Yeah.
happy, but until they finally got it how it is now. And actually, the movie originally started as rated R, and they had to tone it down a lot.
Uh,
Um, uh,
uh,
yeah, Sigourney Weaver.
yeah.
If you actually look at when right before they're going into the chompers, and she's like, "Oh shoot," she does not say that. You can look at her lips and see what she says.
I know what she said.
But yeah, okay. So we joked about Gwen's job. Okay. So we've compared aliens before. We looked at the bugs last week with Starship Troopers. We've looked at Mars aliens. We've looked at Alien itself. And different types of aliens. What did
Independence
you
Day.
guys think of General Saris and these type of aliens?
Now, Junior Saris almost reminds me of some. I think he could have actually been a Star Trek villain if you wanted to throw him in there. It's more realistic. If you look at, I think what was it Star Trek? You had I know we're doing Wrath of Khan, but what was one of those villains? Well, green. No,
There was plenty of green. Most of the green women were.
Vulcan.
No. They were Andoran. No, Andoran were the blue guys.
Yeah.
I can't think right now. But yeah, I know. Actually, they do one similar to this I think in Enterprise. They did one similar to this, but it was quite a bit different. When I kind of like the fact, when he got really excited, those little things popped out in the back. It's like, come on, let's go! Trying to almost bulk up or whatever. But I don't know. I thought it was kind of different. He was kind of humanish or humanoidish, let's say, but he still kind of had bug
tendencies.
Yeah. What'd you think, John?
I'm right there with you in terms of the humanoid. In fact, I mean, that was the exact word I was going to use. Is I think he was a good mix of the two, especially if you're going to parody like older Star Trek in particular, like the idea that you have someone in a costume. But I also think overall, I mean, just good alien setup, strong leadership on his side, and then overall, my problem is getting into the podcast tonight and mentioning the bug side. I almost can't not compare him now to the grasshopper in A Bug's Life, just because of the conversation we've had tonight, and that detracts a few points from him. However, still pretty solid overall.
Yeah, I thought for a villain, he definitely was a good villain. He portrayed it. He showed, his people that, hey, he's the boss, and and just being quick on his feet to digitize himself away from his ship right before it blows up. I don't want to say the word beaming, but
yeah, beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna go back to Star Trek for a minute. Okay. So we've always heard about, well, John. I don't know if you really heard about this or not. Okay. The red shirt guys. The red shirt guys. Anytime you beam down to a planet, if somebody was there with a red shirt, they were dead. They always died. None of the main cast ever died. It was always somebody in
red shirts.
And you know what? I used to have a picture, and you know what? I don't think it's on this computer. Maybe I may have you guys talk for a minute, and I'll see if I can find it. But it was hilarious. It was like it had the main cast in the red shirt, and it says, "Okay, these guys all beamed down to a planet. Guess who's not coming home?"
All of them. And that's the funniest thing. You had, you don't you in the Star Trek shirts. You got yellow, what, blue?
Yeah. Well, and I guess my question was for this was it refreshing, annoying, or what'd you guys think about how they portrayed Guy?
it was more refreshing because the people that knew if it knew they supposed to spoof Star Trek, even guys said, "Yeah, I died in episode 81. I was sacrificed to be killed." Look, he already knew. I'm like, why did you join the party then? But I I like how they did it, and they wrote him into the script at the end.
True. But I
John,
was gonna
what do
say
you?
I like the almost the growth on him as the whole film kind of progressed. Like instead of just kind of being on standby and almost a comedic relief, he kind of grew into their uh, quote unquote family a little bit. Uh, so I enjoyed that aspect where he ended up growing into something more. I think that was nice, a character arc, if you will.
Yeah, and how they. I think if Fred said it best. He's like, "Well, you may not be the red shirt guy. You may be the plucky comic relief." So yeah, I just looked over there. I couldn't find it. I thought I had it saved, but I guess not. All right. Well, I think it said something like Spock, McCoy, Kirk, and Ensign Ricky beam down to the planet. Who's not coming back?
And see Ricky.
Exactly. Okay, let's go with the last one. Can there be truth in the bonds that we form with fictional characters? In other words, you know, can we really form a close bond to a TV show character?
Mm.
I mean, I think absolutely. At least in the sense of the people that play them, especially as you look at modern meet and greets and other things, the way the people, I mean, the way the actors are treated in Galaxy Quest is almost the way actors are treated now. And even sometimes, an actor on screen becoming a quote unquote real life hero, visiting children's hospitals, things like that. So I think they intentionally form some bonds kind of happen naturally. And I definitely think we get attached to on screen characters too, or else, no one would have any emotion when a favorite character dies or, things like that happen. You have emotion there because you've built hopefully a bond with that character because of good storytelling. So I definitely think the movie certainly gets that right, and I think it's only progressed in the modern world with social media and being able to keep up with, actors' personal lives and stuff. I mean, that makes or breaks people now. So I definitely think it's a thing.
Yeah, I agree. Because if you look at it, and this one I know we watched this. I don't know who all watched The Walking Dead. I know in season one, there's a lot of actors in there that Reed Normus, played. I think I'm just saying the biker guy. He was not even supposed to be in that series. He the casting crew liked him so much they writ him into the show just to have him because they liked who he was, and I do believe people get attached to characters and get with your favorite shows, especially here. I mean, you see a group of guys come dressed just like the characters there and knows more about the show than the actors themselves.
Yeah, I'll I will follow that 100%. Um, fun fact. Throw a fun fact in here. Well, actually, hold on. Let me throw my 2 cents in here. Um, yeah, there's been many a times where I can relate to an actor or the person they're playing. Like there was many times when I was in the military, uh, and I was seeing Jack O'Neill, Colonel O'Neill from Stargate SG-1, Richard Dean Anderson, which of course I've been a big fan of his for the longest time. But I could see myself doing different mannerisms, doing different. Um, the way I interacted with other people was very similar to the way he did, and so yeah, I could definitely see how it'll affect our lives because he was military. He was an officer. I was enlisted, so it was a little different. But I could still see parallels there when we
Hmm.
were doing that. So before we get to the next point, did you guys know that Sigourney Weaver was not their first choice for this movie because they wanted nothing to do with anyone who had ever been in sci-fi when they built this.
I kind of figured because
Tim Allen was a huge fan of sci-fi, but he was never been in anything. He was big for Tim the Toolman Taylor,
or
home
Home
improvement
Improvement.
and stuff like that. So he was definitely not on there. And then, but Sigourney, she really because she loved the script. She got a copy of the script, I guess, secondhand or something. Loved it. Said, "Oh, I could just really have a ball with this. I don't have to be serious acting. It's comedy. It's funny. I could just be goofy." And so she pestered them until they were like, "Okay, we'll try you out." And then they loved her. And it's funny, the blonde wig, she started wearing it home every day. And just to mess with people, be like, oh yeah, this is my new color. I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
Okay, to our next segment. Plot holes. Okay, there's a few plot holes on here that are just kind of glaring. But I wanted to take your guys' takes, see if you guys noticed any that I didn't, or if y'all want to talk about them first. So jump right in. We don't want to
say they weren't my they weren't my main focus. I don't think so. I didn't notice as many in this film, just because I was more entertained knowing it was a spoof and that sort of idea. I definitely think the whole 13-second time jump and the 50-50 shot of it being that or blowing up the whole universe, I think that's kind of messed up overall. Especially because
how did they
I'm
know
just going to do it.
Yeah, how did they know what to make it? If all they showed it was the show, and the show never used it, they just talked about it. How did the aliens know, Mathazar and those guys? How did they know what to make this machine do?
Well, see, that's the thing. They did. I mean, I remember beginning of the movie. It did. They activate this, and they went to be continued.
And that was the last episode.
Yeah, it was the last episode, and never showed it again.
Never showed it again. That's what I said. They never showed it again.
But that's what the whole. What does this do? What does it do? And then, like I said, these people that love the show knew what it was, kind of how to get to it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but they never talked to.
Yeah.
To the how do you pronounce it? Thermians? I don't remember.
Yeah.
So I only saw a couple, really. I mean, Chad, did you see anything other than that?
I'm like, why would you not have a second ball in the ship or somewhere stored? Not have to.
That's one of them. When they were like, okay, that was one of the ones I found. I was like, okay, wait a minute. The beryllium spear.
Yeah.
Right. So they said, hey, they only noted that, they were like, hey, it's only made of wire and plaster. But how did they make the ship actually have a beryllium spear? And those are out there just because when you looked at that planet, there was like 10 of them rolling around,
Yeah, just sitting there.
How did they get that exact? Does that mean that somebody from the cast really was an alien? And no. Okay, we're not. We do not have a thing here for conspiracy theory. So, I just had a couple of them. One of them, I'm not going to worry about that. So Mathazar stated that all the Thermians had no place to go. If I remember right, if he says, hey, everyone on the ship is all that's left.
Yeah, but you was in the big space station. Who were they?
Yeah, exactly. And they left them there. They left several of them there at the space station. And then he also says that he says there is not a man, woman, or child on his planet that does not know who he is, who knows who the Galaxy Quest crew is. So again, they kind of, maybe it was just a miswording or what.
Yeah.
And then the biggest plot hole though Well, there's two more. I'm sorry. One of them was when Tommy was flying the ship out of the space dock. Do I have it? I don't have one printed yet. I'm working on that
Yep.
one. But anyway, but the way it was designed is you notice how the nose or the front of it was the one that was scraping all along the side. That couldn't happen with the way the wings were wrapped around and going to the front.
Yeah, no. The
One of those things would have hit too. So again, and then the last thing was, and the Thermians with lying. How did they not understand what lying is when they said they've seen Gilligan's Island? And Gilligan's Island, everybody lied to everybody. So,
oh, poor people.
yeah, they were like, those poor people. I guess, but I mean, I just figured they would have gotten the concept of lying.
Well,
by
okay.
now.
Get this. Think about putting them with a Jedi mind trick. You don't need that. Just go along.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And to our next segment. Okay. What would you do to either fix or improve this movie?
Ugh.
We'll start with Chad.
Yeah, I was thinking. I was trying to figure out what else. Yeah. See, the thing is, I like the premise of, oh, I'm gonna put where they make me look more human than what I really am. But why not just show you who they really were? Right? Just don't wear the camouflage. Hey, show them as a little what it was looks like octopus.
Or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Just keep it that way. I mean, it's a spoof off of sci-fi Star Trek. Stuff. There's weirder things out there. I mean, I'll just done that way. Hey, you at least know who they really were, not just some Spock lookalike. Because when I saw, I'm like, they're trying to mimic Spock. What was Spock looking like on Galaxy Quest? Nobody looked like Spock.
But they kind of did. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay. John, how about you?
For me, I would have probably fixed kind of the double ending thing. I like the idea of them landing in the conference and then defeating General, but I think after having already done it several times before, kind of fell off. So I'd like to see either it carry out the first way or the second way. The both and kind of feels off for me. Although, if I were to do it the second or the first way, kind of the way they did it, where you defeat and then time jump back, maybe some kind of broadcast that accidentally ends up broadcasting all over the earth so all of Earth can see it. And they're like, oh, these guys are legit. And, that kind of opens up a different door. Or, again, just kind of scrap that middle piece and just handle the end.
I think the only thing really I would have added was I would have had Brandon and his crew come up on the stage with him. That they're the ones that basically helped save the Earth, even though it was a kind of a behind the scenes thing, but still give them some recognition.
Yeah.
In front of other people, then, mom and dad would be like, what? This really happened? Okay, so being a nerd is not so bad after all. Just that, and I would have liked to have seen, I think, a little bit more interaction with the General Saris and his people taking over the ship a little bit more instead of just them sitting in the thing playing cards, waiting for the rock monster to come in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I just something, like them patrolling the or just do something a little bit more menacing than just sit there playing cards. I just thought that was kind of like, okay,
you gotta control the ship. I'm gonna play cards.
Yeah. Okay, well, it's time for us to rate this thing. Okay, we are going to be rating this on a scale of 0 to 5 lightsabers. Tell us why you rate it, what you're rating, and why you rate it. So, start with you, John.
I think I'm going to go a solid 3.5 here. And the only reason it's not a 4 or even higher is, I think, just justifying it beside other movies and considering it is a spoof. And there's some quality things that I'd like to see different, but it was a solid movie. I'd watch it again. It was entertaining. So I give it a solid 3.5 on my end.
Okay, Chad, you.
I'm about to say, but I enjoyed the movie. Like I said, I've seen it before. I'll watch it again, and I think it's better than the J. Abrams Star Trek. So yeah, I rated it a 4. I'm sorry, but I didn't like him.
Well, a lot of people didn't like that because it messed up the whole Star Trek timeline and it got way confusing. Of course, now it's even more confusing now. Back when if you watch Strange New Worlds, it's very confusing too because
I tried to watch Picard. I stopped it.
Well, Picard season 3 is good. The first 2 seasons you could just kind of whatever. When you get to 3, it's kind of basically TNG. It's the Next Generation again, with some Voyager people in there. However, the one thing they really missed on is they didn't really have anybody from Deep Space Nine that I remember in season 3. They should have, because that was all in the same time frame. Was Voyager, Next Generation, and DS9 were all at the same time. So I think they could have done better on that. But we're not talking about Picard. We're giving for this one Galaxy Quest, and I think I'm exactly the same as both of you guys. 3.5 is for me too. It's not Spaceballs, but it's a very enjoyable movie. I mean, I think last week I gave Starship Troopers a 4. Well, you guys gave it, something like that. So it's up there. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I really did. It was fun. I loved all the actors. And seeing them in different roles.
Rickman.
Seeing what's the guy? He was the guy in
Die Hard.
Yeah, what was his name?
Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman. Thank you.
By Grandfather's hammer, by the sons of Morvan, you shall be avenged.
Yeah, I mean, seeing him in kind of a comedic role was really. I mean, he's not Hans Gruber, and what did he do? Wasn't he in Harry Potter also?
Snape.
Yeah. So I mean, it wasn't anything like that. It was just fun. I really did. So anytime you have Tim Allen also playing,
to infinity.
Oh nope, that's not it.
Never give up. Never surrender.
I could have kept the infinity, but I knew that was not the right one. Anyway, okay. What's the next on our thing? Oh yeah, right here. Okay, everyone, you can contact us. The easiest way to do that is right here in YouTube. Down, ask some comments, ask us a question, tell us what you'd like to see, tell us what you'd like us to see, or you can find us on all the social media networks. You can also email us, TheseSciFiGuys at gmail.com. That's right, TheseSciFiGuys at gmail.com. All right, and that's our show for today. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
I almost did it again. Next episode was, I believe, John picked this one. And we're going to go back to the animation world. The Iron Giant.
The classic of classic animation.
Tree. Yeah, Vin Diesel. That's he says a couple words in the movie, kind of like I am Groot.
I would say he's used to that though. That's who he is.
Well, this was a lot older, but he started
in
with
the Fast and Furious series. It's just family.
It's family, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So that's definitely one for you guys to look forward to next week. And where am I? I've got so many things I've added recently that there we go, right there. All right, until then,
crash and burn.
Crash and burn.